Hello, everybody, and welcome back to part 2 of CaseyBuilds Live and the Disney Castle. We made a lot of good progress yesterday. We got through 5 of the 14 bags. Minnie just fell over right there. So we've got a pretty good foundation set up here. Missing half of the castle over here, but you can see the bottom of it is definitely taking shape, and the inside kind of has a really cool castle-y vibe going on there. So we're just going to keep on building. Lex has been good enough to pre-sort out a tray for us here. So we've got bag 6 ready to go. I'm gonna delicately place this over here. Mickey has not yet killed Minnie, so that's good. I'm gonna flip back over to that camera. So I'm all fancy with my hotkeys now. And let's see here. Okay, I think everything's good. So, cranking right on through the build. Step 6. Yeah, there we go. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. You guys, are you suggesting I need a hat because I haven't been cutting my hair?
No.
I'm just getting a little bushy. But for me, the main thing with my hair, when it goes down in my face, it makes me feel like that's what allergies on my face feels like. I hate it when my hair's on my face. So as long as it's up and out, then not a problem for me. I'm okay with that. Maybe if Disney comes out with a Jungle Cruise set for the Jungle Cruise movie they're coming out with, then I could get one of those really cool safari hats that they wear on the Jungle Cruise. Yeah, this was a tight tray here, wasn't it? Guys haven't been able to appreciate it. Maybe I'll move him over into a more prominent position. Lex has been doing a very nice job of laying all of this stuff out ahead of time, trying to make it visually appealing, along with easy to find all of the pieces I might need. So she's been sorting extra hard. How's everybody doing today? We started off our day. I was going to do some organization in the second guest bedroom, and I was finally going to get all of the boxes of DVDs up into the closet, up into the attic where I plan to store them, and never ever use them again. I was going to transfer all the DVDs into different long-term storage things, but I realized the long-term storage bins I was going to put them in were a little bit bigger than what they were already in, and they were already pretty heavy, as is. And so I kind of called a last-minute audible on it, changed my mind, just going to leave them in the boxes. But as it is, one of the boxes that they're in is too big, so it's too heavy already, and that pretty much thwarted my entire all of the momentum I had built up trying to get work done. So I decided, okay, well, new plan. I've got to transfer these to a box before they go up in the attic, and that's not going to happen now because the plans have changed and I wasn't prepared for that. So luckily tomorrow's a holiday, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot tomorrow morning. See if I get any further than I did today. Huh. Okay. Well, let's see here. This one might need stickers. Aha! It does. Alright, let's see which ones we're working on here. 2 stickered ones and 2 non-stickered. Those go out there. Well, let's see which ones go where. Alright, so this... So, not that this should come as a shock to anybody out there, but my level of neuroses, when I put the stickers on these pieces, I place them... Oh, weird camera shadow. Oh, I oriented my phone differently today. That's why there's a shadow there now. Ew. Okay, well, sorry. So the stickers, this one's higher, this one's lower, and as you can see in the instructions, there's a higher and lower sticker. Now, ultimately, it's the same stupid, silly little piece, and it's not going to make any kind of a difference whatsoever, but just to make it as instruction perfect as possible, I have to flip ahead because the step I'm on doesn't have the stickers yet. So I need to see which stickered piece needs to be where. So we flipped ahead, did that. We have our stickers in the right spots now, because that's a crucial part of the building process. Interestingly enough, these ones are in fact the exact same sticker, just placed in different locations. So, like I said, super duper important. Didn't we do something else? Oh, we went to the grocery store again. We got supplies for our barbecuing that I had mentioned yesterday, thinking that we were not going to do because we had forgotten the last time we went to the grocery store. At which point, Lex thoughtfully let me know that we could go back. So now we've got a nice tri-tip to barbecue up tonight. She decided to marinate it in something that I would not have thought to do. What was it? Orange?
Orange juice and the brown sugar dry rub.
So we're marinating it in orange juice with a brown sugar dry rub. I honestly have no idea how that's going to taste.
Delicious.
But she's made good decisions in the food department before, so we'll just go ahead and roll the dice. Just make sure she takes the first bite.
Rude. Don't burn it this time, eh? You got it on yourself.
Oh. Alex got himself a single Mexican Coke for later.
I think you still have 1 or 2 of those in the fridge.
Yeah, we have a few more of those left over. You know, they sell those by the flat. They're cheaper that way.
Maybe then he'll drink them all.
I know that.
Neither of you has any self-control.
False. So right now we're building up. Yesterday we worked on. Oh, that's a little too low. Yesterday we finished off with that section of the wall, so we're working on an equivalent section over here, but this one is a little bit different. So So, the visual variety will be interesting. I actually don't remember. I suppose I could just look at the box to see what the difference is, but the lack of symmetry would have been something that would have upset me a long time ago, and I think I was talking about this in
A long time ago, like last week.
when I was doing a different build about how important symmetry used to be, and that I've come to understand that sort of randomness is can be a beautiful thing. Personal growth. I feel like having this tray right here makes me build a little too far back, and then you can't see what's happening. So we're going to move that a little bit. Also, I'm hoping that the noise is not something that's getting picked up by the microphone. Doubt it is. Downstairs we actually have some homemade ice cream churning right now as well, which I'm super stoked about. Lex made us a batch of vanilla a week ago, and this time she's making it, she's got a pack of Oreos at the store, and we're going to do cookies and cream. So I am very happy about that choice. So since we're building the Disneyland castle, some latest Disneyland news. I got an email this morning, or no, a text, actually from MD Cordy, who's usually around here, but he's out on the beach at the moment. That some of Disneyland's newest plans include building a new Disney Travel Club, I think that's what they call it, timeshare tower, or possibly hotel in the Disneyland downtown Disney area. Now I'm getting things confused because I know that they had planned something like that before and then it got canceled. Anyway, there's some new cool hotel stuff that it looks like they're working on with the city of Anaheim. It was looking real fancy. So if anybody's in the business, or if anybody's looking for a new timeshare to invest in, that could be the one. Okay, I'm also flying way far ahead right now because some more stickered pieces that I don't know where they go. And this one is the non-stickered piece. Oh, look at that. Cordy, your ears must have been burning there. I was just talking about that link he sent me this morning for the new timeshare hotel downtown Disney stuff that they're working on. I think the link had mentioned that it wouldn't be out. They anticipated it being open in like 2023 or so, which was pre-COVID timeline. So who knows how that'll change. But yeah. Anyway, certainly something exciting to keep an eye on. All right, so that half of the wall was all just a flat wall. This one has a little bit more going on. We have some openings and windows and doorways and things. So, I'm sure we'll see pretty soon what's going to be happening inside of those. So, Cordy, how's the beach looking today? It's warming up around here. Can't imagine what it's going to be like in Florida right now. Oh, see, and now I'm a little bitter just because I'm looking at that, and I see these up here, which I know are an indicator that I'm going to have to do some more of the... Okay. I can't point at things with this where it is. There we go. So those mean I'm going to be doing more of these sorts of things, which are the finicky little things that I was complaining about nonstop last time. So I'm going to have there'll be some more there. Some of the less fun part of the build. Well, that's just way too much in the way. Let's get that out of there. I think the biggest problem we're going to have with this set is just how big this guy is, and trying to keep everything in frame for you so it's all, so you can actually see what's happening. I did try to move my camera up a little higher. I don't know if, I'd imagine that'd be a little bit better. Once we finish this section, we should be back into the more fun areas with the Disney Easter eggs so we can have people guessing again. Oh, actually, nope. This section will have something fun too. Looking at the pieces down there. One of the easier Easter eggs. One of the things I was talking about yesterday was these pieces, which were very similar to just a normal 1x2 piece, but they have some brick lines etched into them, and I'll hold this up for you in a second, and you can see the effect it makes. So it works pretty well, giving you kind of this sort of a more natural bricky kind of look, which works really well with the with these sorts of stickers. Just little pops of detail here and there. A little bit can go a long way. speaking of the heat, this is an amazing place to sit in the house. There's an AC vent right above me, and this room is probably the lowest ceilinged room in the whole house, so it's just blasting right down on me, and that's just lovely. It's just kind of weird because right at first when it kicks on, the air comes out and it's on the warm side because it hasn't cooled off yet. We had one of these on the other one, kind of a little turny flippy doodad there. Pretty sure that's what the official name for it is. Turny flippy doodad. Little piece that rotates. And that'll be to lock it in here at the non-standard angle that it's going to be set at. Ooh. There we go. I actually like the way they do this too, because it's going to be at a different angle there. To make this part flat, so when you put this on top, it'll still be solid, and they have this in here, which actually fits into the hole in the middle there. It all just fits together perfectly, even though it's at an odd angle. So neat how they were able to accomplish that. Little pocket area up on the top up here. Not quite sure what that's going to be for, but you can see we've got kind of a little windowy area in here, and there'll be something going on the back side. Not quite sure yet. Definitely not as finished as the front. That's another thing they'll do. You'll notice in the last step, they had you start off with one of these guys and put that on there. And in the next step, you just grab 3 more and keep going. And they could have easily made that all one thing, and you would have been able to see it just as well this way as had it all been on the last step. But just to guide you a little bit more, they'll frequently do that kind of thing. Where if you're going to be placing a whole bunch of them, they'll have you place one down. You can see how that is in one step with it's just one isolated, and then they'll go to the next step and have a whole bunch more like that. So it's just one of the real subtle ways that they are able to get you to do the right thing with their instructions with no words. So I know I've been talking about food an awful lot today, we were smarter today than we were yesterday and made sure that we actually ate ahead of time. My stomach wouldn't be growling for the duration of the build. Oh, that's neat. Put that on the front. So that piece I just built fits in right there, and we'll be building off of this somehow. Which I'm sure will be exciting once we know what it is that we're doing. By the way, Cordy, I don't know if you're still out there or not, or if you're viewing with Joan again, but happy day after Joan's birthday. I know when my birthday rolls around, I pretty much consider it to be a month-long celebration of me. Because who wouldn't want to celebrate that? Oh, see, I was distracted with those other bits. I'm going to be moving on to the things that I don't enjoy. Luckily, in these earlier stages, they're kind of spread out. When we get to the top, if I remember correctly, there's a whole bunch of them all at once. And that's really a nuisance. Oops. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. So this is interesting. We're building a second tower over on this side. We built 2 towers on this guy before. This one's clearly a couple of towers as well. But instead of having these big curved pieces on this side, something else is going on over there, and I don't remember what is going to end up in that area or why they have us do that. Oh, see, and that's just going to cover it right up. So there must be something going on the top up here where we built this little square hole. I'm sure we'll know soon enough. This is another finicky little thing where you have to attach, this is like that greebling, or some of the pieces that you use for that, and you put them on here, and then you can line it up, and it sort of gives it a quasi-roundedness. But it just takes, once again, takes a little bit extra care to get it to line up as perfectly as one would want. Alright. Okay. So this is a fun step. Also, this purple, you don't see a lot of this, but if Tom Klucher's out there, that is definitely a very Tom shade of purple, and I know he would really love that. I think of everybody I know, Tom is the biggest fan of the color purple. That I know. Okay. Like I said, we're going to have some easy ones coming up here. Does anybody know what we have here? Perhaps oriented this direction would be a little bit more easy to guess. And it comes with one of these. Do we know which Disney movie that's from? This is a super gimme. How about Barney? I think Barney is born into loving purple. He has no choice, whereas Tom has elected to love purple. So I'm gonna give that one to Tom. So we have that tucked away in there. This is hanging on the wall. Just waiting for my feed to catch up with you guys, because I'm assuming I'm not going to have to shout out the answer to that one. Oh, this is just the rest of these. Couple of these. Okay, one more look at it. We got this hanging on the wall. We got that little lamp down there. I know that sometimes Tyson is out there watching this after the fact, so Tyson, were you able to guess what this was? Obviously, we have the lamp and the magic carpet from Aladdin. Sure, I didn't need to tell anybody that one. Okay. That guy's done, and let's attach it and then move on to some more next fun bag. this will fit right on there and attach to the top. No. Where do you go? That will be... There we go. Thank you. There we go. We have our next bag ready. Thank you, Lex. Okay, that feels mostly solid. I think we're all right. So we got pretty much the bottom of our castle done here. We got Brave. We got our little Princess on the Frog outside. And then we got the Aladdin area inside over there. And as Lex pointed out, this grandfather clock is probably a great Mouse Detective reference, which I had never gotten before. Yeah. Okay. All right, so step 7 here. We're just going to finish off the front of the main castle entry. It looks like. So looks like we're just going to build that right up on here. So one of the things that people who take apart sets as meticulous as I do is one of the things that's really nice with some of the sets is when the bags are more or less modular sorts of pieces. So like this was obviously bag 6, this was bag 5. Bags 1 through 4 kind of built up on each other, and it's obviously necessary for something like this. But when taking the sets apart, it makes it a little bit more difficult when they're all built on top of themselves like this, as opposed to being in more modular chunks. Because when they're in more modular chunks, you can just kind of take a whole section and flip back through the manual and see, oh, okay, well, this is section 5. So you take it off and you can put all of that in the bag, and you don't need to pay attention to every step as you're taking apart. You just need to get all of the pieces separate. Whereas for the rest of this set, when you're taking it apart, for bags 1 through 4, you really do basically need to follow the directions in reverse, which it just takes a little bit longer to go through that way. So there are certainly worse things, but just one of the things that you probably wouldn't pay any attention to is somebody putting this together, unless you were also the sort of person who regularly takes them back apart. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, and I'm ruining the tray. And we'll put that one back up there. Okay. So point being, that popped in my head because here, bag 7, we're just building it right on top of all this stuff that exists. So when or if I ever were to go to take this apart, it would be a more time-consuming disassembly because you have to pay a little bit more attention. Also, so this piece right here, this is not a sticker. It's just printed onto the Lego, and that is so much nicer than getting stickers. And getting things like this just makes a person wonder, why don't they do that for everything that they want to have be printed? Just Get rid of stickers. Stickers are the worst part of building a Lego set. There have been a couple of sets that I've my dislike for the stickers was enough that I thought, you know what? I'm just not going to put the stickers on. I'm going to leave the Legos as is and forego the stickers. And the stickers are on the sheet in the box.
What'd you do that for?
Because I don't like stickers.
No, I mean, what's it?
A few. Definitely did it on the Voltron set. It didn't need stickers. Anyway, stickers are terrible, and why can't they just print more like this? Print more like that. So much better. Well,
They don't charge enough.
if it costs more, they can charge us more. I'm fine with that. Oops. Okay, let's push that back a skosh. Alright. I have more of the pretty intricate fence design here. Again, I can't remember if I've seen that in other sets before. And sometimes with these really large sets, they will have one unique piece for the set. They'll come up with something new, and I don't think this is the case for this one, but I think they do it as something for collectors, so that if you're the person who is trying to collect Lego pieces or needs one specific piece, you might need to get this one specific set in order to get the piece. So kind of just a little trick they play on people. So that's going to go on the front of the castle. Oop, oop. There we go. Right there. Another piece we're going to get to in a minute. It's going to give me an opportunity to be frustrated about something else. Not as bad as stickers, but still something to be frustrated about. Incidentally, if the stream is going a little too slow for you, the time lapse takes about 2.5 minutes. It has a real snappy song accompanying it. Okay, let's see. These need to fit here. And that's obviously something you can find on the CaseyBuilds channel. Get these pieces out of here without... Yay, I did it. Without ruining Lex's hard work. remember if I mentioned this on the stream or not yesterday, but building the Disneyland castle like this is really making me jonesing to get back to Disneyland. And while I think it's a great thing that we're sheltering in place, I am looking forward to once it's finally safe for us to not do that anymore. And I will be so happy to be back in the park. Okay. So this is clever the way we put all this stuff together here, but I still don't like it. Anytime one of these pieces is in a set, I know it's going to be finicky. This has no purpose whatsoever, other than just being just a tiny little piece of icing.
Looks like a unicorn.
Extra detail. It does look like a unicorn head horn. There's a whole bunch of them here, but it's something that we'll be using throughout the castle to just give it little bits of detail. And it's one of the pieces that whenever I see it, I just think, really? I don't need that. That's too much. You've gone too far, Lego. If it was actually on a unicorn head, if that was part of a set, then that'd be great. But this is not. This is getting larger, so it's harder to. But it's just it's up there at the top, right there. Just some flair. Doesn't really add a lot for me, personally. Maybe someday if I hit the big time, I can hire someone. Ooh, that almost tricked me. So there are these fellas right here, which are almost identical to these fellas, as you can see, but these ones are a brick higher. Kind of hard to get in there. There you go. And I noticed, because on the instructions they actually give you something to hold it up to see that it's the right size. And even though it's not the right size on my screen, it was enough of a visual reminder that is something that would be important here. So I double checked it and realized I was holding the wrong ones. Anyway, what was I saying? I was talking about if I really ever make it big as a Lego builder, maybe I can outsource the greebling and the small finicky bits. I can have somebody else do that for me. It's real finicky.
You've already outsourced your sorting.
Yeah, but if you're going to be building Legos, you enjoy doing the fun sets. I don't need you to just do the boring stuff. Fun fact, when we moved into this house, I was actually not the person to build the first Lego set in the house. Not that anybody's counting or paying attention or anything to that sort of thing. Alright, okay, that's going to be all of those little gray ones. All of them. Oh, carnage. There we go. Oh, actually no, not all of them. Close to, though. All right. See, in something like this, which is almost the same as doing something very, all these other littler ones that are just repetitive, that doesn't bother me as much. And I'm wondering if maybe it's because these ones I can hold a little bit better. I'm wondering if it might just be because my fingers are so big that doing the real tiny little ones are just too much of a require a little too much I don't know. I'm sure there's a word to use to describe what I'm saying. Dexterity is not really... You know what? Sure, we'll just go with dexterity. Close enough. Big flat plate. So as an alternative, we could have built this in such a way that this whole front section could have been a modular piece that you build it here and then attach it on, which I think some of these other spires are going to do. And the reason why they do it with the spires in particular is so that or other areas up here is so that you specifically can remove them. Like if you're playing like dollhouse style, if you were kind of playing around with it, that way you could take pieces out and actually get in. And if you were, if you were a kid playing with the little minifigs and telling stories and stuff, you could get in there and do that. But it would have made it so much easier also for the deconstruction if there was more of that involved for like the front. Make it more modular. And you might think, well, if you make it modular, then it looks like it's a whole bunch of detached pieces. And I've built enough of these to know that they're not always like that. Oops. Okay. Yeah, they can do a really good job of coming up with these modular bits and then just having one or two pieces to hold it all together, and you wouldn't know that they were separate chunks. So this is an interesting one. I was trying to figure out how to attach this, and there's these little nibs sticking out right here, but it turns out you have to put it on its side, and it just slips right into place. That's fun. Okay, now we're using the taller ones. 3, 4. Okay. Two. Those are the shorter ones. One thing that makes it kind of easy to tell the difference between the 1 piece wide taller, shorter ones versus the 1 piece wide taller ones is these ones actually have a hollow stud top, and these ones have a solid stud top. And so in the instructions, you can, if you see the solid stud top, you don't even really need to pay too much attention to know that it's the shorter ones. Nearly at the top of our front entry structure. Incidentally, I feel like if this was a medieval castle, this area that I'm building right now would be where they would have the boiling vats of tar that they would be pouring down on the intruders as they came through the gates. Disneyland Castle is much prettier. That was something really interesting, though. Obviously completely different than the Disneyland castle, being the make-believe fairy tale place that it is. I'd gotten to go over to Europe on a work trip a few years ago, and one of the things that I did while I was there was popped into Ireland for a little while. I went to one of the castles there, the Blarney Castle, or where the Blarney Stone is. I can't remember if it's called the Blarney Castle or not. But I mean, effectively, point is, I got to walk through this actual castle. It was the first time I've ever been in a real castle before. And when you're in a castle like that was purpose built a long time ago, you realize how differently we build things now, where we're building structures to make things open and welcome and inviting. And you go into the castle, and it was very much built for protection and to confuse people and to be sturdy and defensible. It was really interesting seeing the difference between something like that and just how things have changed over the years. There we go. Sorry, I had a little issue. Okay. And again, not to think that like the Disneyland castle would be an example of an actual real world castle, but seeing it and seeing the way it's built and structured and everything, you can see how it is in no way whatsoever something that would have ever actually been a real castle way back when. You need to worry about people invading and storming the castle, all of that. All right. So these pieces right here, kind of spear shape. They have a kind of looks like a drill bit. It's got a plus on the head, and one of the many things that does not matter at all, but it usually I'll take a few extra seconds to make sure that they're aligned, just because that's the kind of thing that would drive me nuts if they weren't. Almost done here. Oh, not done yet. Getting close though. Appreciate how proactive you are with the trays. You're doing an awesome job. Oops. Did I grab the right number? I did. See, there's another little fussy bit. No, I got it. Just out of curiosity, are you enjoying your peanuts right now, Mom? We talked about those yesterday, right? Different types of peanuts. When did we talk about that? Who were we talking to about that?
Alex.
I'm a big fan of honey roasted peanuts myself.
Are you ready now?
Yes. Uh-oh. I heard a shift. Thank you. Oh yeah, big piles over there. I got you. Okay, fussy little bits. Let's see here. Let's work from the back outward. I think you can kind of see. Can you see what I'm doing? There's little grabbers here. You can tell there's a lot of. We're working on a lot of peanuts there. Working on a lot of the weird shape things here. See, so there's lots of little finishing touches with these unicorn horns. But I suppose ultimately that's a good thing. It's just not one of the more fun things to build. Yeah. You're having some peanuts right now. Because I like peanuts. Incidentally, viewers, let's see, we're about to move to the next section. There are a few nuts that I like by themselves. Peanuts, cashews. That might be the end of the list, yeah. But I don't like them when they're in things. When you start, like, when you add nuts to brownies, just all you're doing is ruining the brownie at that point. Oh, this is cute. We're going to have a little ducktail on Donald here. Little... Ooh. Ducktail. We'll stick Donald over here next to Minnie. Now Mickey has a reason to be blasting her with a bow. Well, I had to put the bow somewhere.
That's not where that goes.
Well, that's where it is. Okay. So based on what I was talking about with this last section, building up the front, oh, I suppose I should hold it up for you guys. It looks pretty. Looks nice. Real pleasant. Welcoming. The doors actually do open. And that's something that I absolutely can't fix while holding this thing up. So go through and close the doors. Nope. Hand's too big. There we go. Fixed it. All right. So, what I was complaining about last time, I know there were a few things I was complaining about, but the modular sections, you can guess, or perhaps see, how this would once again be annoying. To be simply building this up on top of the existing section as opposed to building a modular chunk and then just attaching it. So I know there's a lot of, I know Lego has lots of considerations when they're building these for making things structurally sound and everything. So I'm sure there was a reason why this needed to be built up as opposed to modularly connected section by section. Just saying, it would have been nice if it was done differently. I love Snickers though. Snickers definitely have peanuts inside of them. But like, you compare Almond Joys to Mounds. Mounds are so far superior to the Almond Joys. Like, I would leave an Almond Joy on the table, but I would eat a Mounds. Mom, I have a memory, and maybe you could help me place it. It was, I feel like it was back on Lycan. Did we just have a big bag of individually or not individually wrapped, but like single bag honey roasted peanuts. I feel like they had like an eagle on them. Was that a thing? Did we have a big massive bag of those? I don't know why that's something that I remember. And perhaps incorrectly. Incidentally, unrelated to that, so the things along the front, all of the little, all of the things that were these sorts of deals. This section has some of those to finish off these corners, but they're really clever. So they're on here. We're going to be building a few of these, 4 of them, and we're building these, and it's on an angle, so they're actually going to fit into these corners, because there's open corners, and it'll give it the roundness. I don't know. It's something that's interesting and makes me not dislike the finickiness as much. Could have been a jar. I don't know. I just remember like small packs, little packs like this big, like what you would get on an airline of honey roasted peanuts. I don't know if I'm making that up. Yeah, they were like airplane peanut packs, which Southwest doesn't have anymore. Southwest got rid of their peanuts as a snack option. I don't know. I suppose actually all airlines might have, but I always fly Southwest. I love them, and they got rid of peanuts so that the airborne peanut particulate couldn't threaten people's lives anymore. But yeah, I remember eating the honey roasted peanut bags in the bar on Lycan. Grandma had a friend that was a stewardess, and she gave Grandma an expired crate of those peanuts. Aha! Okay. Yeah, those were delicious.
Gross.
Oh, they're peanuts.
Gross. That's so bad. Why didn't you throw out that super old thing of cashews you had? I ate it and it was gross. I taste tested it before I threw it away.
Peanuts last well beyond the expiration date. Alex typed rubbish? I don't understand. We have some more of these little fellas now, and again, they're a little different. We're putting them on these other guys, and it's rounding it out. So, while I don't enjoy putting them just all over the whole castle, the fact that they're there and now we have to be creative with how we get them to attach like this makes it, that piece of it's a little more fun. So you can see we had to get up at the top creative to get them to go around the columns. Did Grandma not have a friend that was a stewardess? Do I once again not know where the peanuts came from? And again, I remember, I feel like I had an eagle on it, but they were honey roasted. No peanuts. There were peanuts though. Oh, there were. Oh well. Well, I don't remember where that memory came from, but I suppose away it goes once again. Right. As you may be able to guess after the other things that I've been talking about, I typically don't love these little, just the little single solitary studs either. That level of detail work is, I know it makes a difference, but it's the joy with it is lost on me. I don't really love it. Just based on the way Lex has these laid out here, I have a feeling that there's going to be a whole lot of repetitiveness ahead of us here. Which is boring. Let's get this one down. Okay. This little guy looks like it's going to go somewhere like that. And yeah, there we go. So we built the one, and now we have to build 3 more of them. I knew it. 1, 2, 3. I can hear Lex adding ice into our ice cream maker downstairs. That's exciting. Means by tomorrow we'll have some delicious ice cream. We'll have to get Lex to grab that one for us.
Two shelf one.
Over there. Perfect timing. Thank you. For some reason, this one, when we were building it, we built one with a yellow one, and then the rest of these are going to be white. And there's this, other than the color difference, there is absolutely no difference here. And so I actually don't know why they made that one special, unless later on there's a reason this needs to be lined up a certain way. But currently, that one is an outlier for no apparent reason. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if something comes about from that. Okay. Okay, well now it looks like we'll be using that to keep things oriented. Although once again, okay, this next step where we finish this off with 3 more, again, the only difference on these is the color. So not entirely sure why they're having us do this yet. And yet again, another one-off color choice with 3 otherwise identical ones. Don't know what's going on. Oh, nope, I lied. These other ones aren't identical. Okay. So that's gonna be why those are different. So this one's gonna be flat on the front here, and then the rest of them are gonna have studs sticking out. So presumably the other ones will have some sort of fine detail work on them that the 4th one can't have, because it'll be up against the side of something. So that would explain that. The mystery unfolds. Oh, Mickey shot Minnie. Okay. That is a densely packed little disc there. Let's see what we have to do with it. Okay, so yellow as the indicator. Yellow is supposed to go that way. So if any of the other sides had gone that way, the studs would have ran into it, but because that side was flat, this will be able to go right up against it and attach. There we go. And now we'll be able to, I'm guessing, hang the studs off of everything here. Yeah. Alright. Looks like we're doing another one, and it's probably going to be right over here. presumably we'll have a flat side right here and then be able to hang things off the rest of them in a very similar way. So let's just fly through these steps here, since they're all very close to the same. More of these tiny little pieces. So it's a great reminder that children have the right size hands to be building these things. Now this time, as you can see, since we'd already kind of done multiple iterations of this before, instead of having us build one and then build 3 more this time, they actually just give us the instructions to build 4, since we've actually already built 4 of these things previously. So you can see how clever they are in how they have you sometimes build the exact same thing that you built previously, but how the instructions will change throughout the build, where you're making the exact same thing, but they'll tell you to do it differently because they know that you know what you're doing by that point, because you've already done it before with more hand holding. I feel like that'd be an interesting book, The Psychology of Lego. All the work that goes into the creation of the instructions. I feel like you could do something with that. I know a lot of people with degrees in psychology. I should talk to them. Okay. Alright, we're making another dense little puck like we did before. And now we have something to orient ourselves against. Do the one of these here with the flat side, and then bet you will turn that page and have to build 3 more with non-flat sides. Ha! Look at that. Like I've built these things before. once again, we have a solid little hockey puck. Oh, and I skipped the direction to put that on. So let's attach that over there. There we go. And as you can see, colors inside, as I've been saying with the keeping track of where you are and having a guide, all the outside colors need to be what they are, but on the inside they use lots of bright colors to help you keep track of where you're at. Ever since Alex mentioned it yesterday, in my mind I just keep saying the word greebling to myself over and over again. It's kind of driving me nuts. It's like having a song stuck in your head, but instead of it being an entire song, it's one stupid word. Greebling. What? Oh. Look at me trying to skip steps. I skipped step 432. How dare I? There. Okay. Getting close to being finished with this bag. Looks like finishing off this section here will be the end of it. One, two, three, four, 6, 8. That's it. And there we are. Okay. Let's put these on here. Building up this guy very similar to this one over here. If I was gonna guess, I'm guessing it'll probably end up in that spot right there. We'll find out soon enough. Also, I think I might have fibbed. I think I said there would have been another, possibly another Easter egg in this bag, but as we are starting the next bag, we clearly didn't have any here. So I apologize for that. Oh, nope, I was wrong. It goes over here. Alright, so which way is this oriented? Okay, so there's this thing, which we can't see in the instructions, which means it must go toward the back. How's that supposed to line up there? Yeah, alright, well, we have two outer spires with extra stuff. So let's figure out where we're going with those. Alright, bag 9. Alright. Well, it looks like bag 9 is going to truly be the end to the front facade of the castle here. So let's finish that off. Oops. just noticed I had a text from Carol from a while ago indicating that she too is ready to return to Disneyland. That does not surprise me.
Next bag's a big one.
What's that?
The next bag's a big one.
The one you're on now or the one after that?
No, this one I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, we'll only have 3.
So this little guy right here, cute little tower on the back. Just matching up with the castle. Actually, I think I might have called this the Disneyland Castle a couple of times instead of the Disney Castle, but technically there is a difference between all of the castles at the different theme parks, and this is the Florida Magic Kingdom Disney Castle, not the Anaheim Disneyland Castle.
It is Cinderella's castle, not Sleeping Beauty's castle.
Yes, as Lex just pointed out, this is, in fact, Cinderella's castle, not Sleeping Beauty's castle. I'm sure I didn't need to point that out to all of you, because who wouldn't know the difference between those, but just for the sake of being thorough, there you go. I actually have not seen. Well, that's not entirely true. I've seen it from afar, but the times that I've been to Disney World, I have not gone into the Magic Kingdom part of it because I've been more interested in seeing the parts of Disney World that are completely new to me. And since Magic Kingdom is largely just a blown-up version of Disneyland, that's been a lower priority to me on my Disney World trips. And by the time I go through Epcot Center and Animal Kingdom and Hollywood Studios and all of the other things that are unique to Disney World, I'm usually running out of steam and don't make it to Magic Kingdom. So I actually have not been to this particular castle. What shirt am I wearing today? Sleeping Beauty. Okay. So this is Cinderella's castle. My shirt is a Doctor Who Sleeping Beauty Princess Aurora crossover. So I've been to her castle, not this one. Everybody knows of all of the classic Disney princess movies, Sleeping Beauty is in fact the best one, in my opinion. Largely in part due to the fact that it's the only one where the prince actually does anything worthwhile. He has to work for it. He doesn't just ride up on a horse and kiss someone that was asleep. Like a creeper. Just building another one of these pucks here. I'm guessing it's gonna match that guy there. So try to do that quickly. Since we've already built two and this isn't offering us a whole lot of new excitement. Now I'm brainstorming. I feel like just thinking about building repetitive sets, and one of the sets that I have that really looks cool by the end, but it's just really boring to build, is a Super Star Destroyer, and it's 4 feet long. It's huge. It's a massive scale. But because of all these, it's very detailed, and it has lots of little one piece things set along the top of it to give it the detail that it needs. And because of that, it's like, okay, build this, now build 48 more of this exact same part, and then layer them along the top of the thing. So it's boring to watch, and there's really not a whole lot to talk about while you're doing it, but it's still just a cool looking build. So now I'm wondering if it would be, maybe we could do a different type of CaseyBuilds series, where instead of me talking along, maybe we layer it over top of like some Star Wars music or something. So instead of being as interactive as this sort of an experience is, maybe it's something that you could just sort of put on and you get some music going with it, and you can look up and see something being built, but not really something that you'd have to be so actively participating in. But I think it'd be cool if Disney and Lego made different castles that you could get. No, they wouldn't be too terribly different.
Like real life castle?
No, the different castles from their park. So, like, you know, we have this one and the Sleeping Beauty castle and the
Shanghai and
yeah, Paris is what, the Beauty and the Beast castle?
I think so. I don't know. I've never been.
Yeah, I think Paris has Beauty and the Beast, the castle from that. I wonder what Disneyland or Disney, the Shanghai.
I think that's Mermaid.
The like King Triton's castle or Eric's castle.
I don't remember. I'll look it up. You might be done before you were.
Oh, I think you will be. Yeah, I'd buy more of these if they made more. They're all different. I'm sure that shocks everybody out there that's watching right now, that like I needed an excuse to buy more Lego sets. Oriented thusly. Okay, and 4 more of these, and hopefully that's the last of this kind of thing that we need to build. Because I know if I'm tired of building them, you guys are probably tired of watching me build them. Greebling. Just over and over right now. I feel like I'm on Pee-wee's Playhouse. It's the word of the day. The word of the day is greebling. Or Sesame Street. No, Sesame Street had letters. Letters of the episode or letters of the day. Okay, there, finally. All right, let's get that on there and do something interesting again. That was just a little too much of that. If I could line it up correctly. There we go. All right. Oh, good. More circular tower bits. Oh, haha. You guys see what I see? That little 2X up there. It tried to trick me and hide it, make it so I wouldn't notice it, and then I'd have to come back. But no, we're not gonna, because we noticed. There we go. Ooh, that one snapped into place real good. Okay. Okay. And all those and all of those. Okay, and then more of these, building these little angle bits. Okay. Presumably we will be using all of those up. Make them ahead of time. Usually when it comes to stuff like this, where it's a repetitive thing where you have to make a whole bunch of them, I don't know why. I'll usually... You could certainly make them and then place them as you go. I usually, for no reason whatsoever, make them all up ahead of time, usually. And this is not something that I have an OCD reason or an explanation for. It's just sort of the order I do it. Kind of like how you usually just brush your teeth in the same order every time. At least I do. I don't know, maybe that's not normal. But for whatever reason, things like this, I'll make them all up and then I'll put them all on, as opposed to putting them on as I'm making them. Don't know why. And as always, we take great care to make sure that these are all lined up, because there's, at least not yet, there's nothing in there that's going to keep them aligned, locking them in place. So I just as soon get them right myself this way, and then if something comes along to snap them into where they're supposed to be, that'd be great. But we don't necessarily want to believe that's going to happen. Okay. Tower there, and one over here. There we go. There. Okay, we are so close to being done with this bag. Which is starting to stress out Lex, because apparently she doesn't have the next tray ready. That wasn't a criticism. Oh, you line up. Why is that not? Ah, there it is. Okay, got it. And if these were black, they would look like little witches' hats. But as it is, we're going to have some tower toppers. And it would appear that I was right to make sure that they were flush when I was putting them together, because there is in fact nothing to keep them going in the right direction. So, good thing we did that work up front. And now everything just lines up nicely without any extra fussing. So the way those are going to work, the way they do work, is we have kind of like little rooms at the tops of our towers that you can see through and look out if you're up there. And of course, what Disney castle would be complete, or what kind of castle? I'm having a hard time with my words today.
Do you smell toast?
I don't smell toast. We need flags. We need flags on the tops of our towers. That's what we're doing. And let's just pretend that I used the right words for what I was trying to say. I'm not even drinking rum with these today. What's going on? Okay.
That's the problem.
There we are. One little flag. Since we're gonna imagine that physics are real in Legoland, we're gonna make all of our flags blowing in the same direction, so as to not make our brains hurt when we look at these. So I don't know about you guys, but if we had one flag going one way and another going another way, that would just take away from the magic. It would look too fake. Okay, we got all those. And then for the final little bit, we need to do that one little tower that I'd pointed out at the very beginning. A little offshoot over here. There we go. Pardon me. Okay. And that's the end of that one. You could just give me what you got.
Nope.
Okay. Well, let's see here. While we're waiting for that next one, let's take a peek at what's happening next. Okay, so as I had said at the beginning of this one actually finishes off this whole section of the castle. So bag 9 takes us up to the end of this. And let me switch cameras. Magic of television. Boom. So we have the bottom. We have the base of our castle here, which looks good as is. But as you can tell, we have this sort of unfinished section on the top. And if you look at the instructions, and if you kind of blew up that area, you can see that we're going to start building more castle coming up off of the top here. So as is, complete bottom area, and it actually looks like a really great castle just as it is. But we're gonna go higher, and so this section you can see is modular and will actually attach to this and be removable, which is one of those things that I was talking about that I really like. Also, you can see that these 3 towers are level, which is why they were all mostly the same. This one we built differently over here, and it's a little shorter. I would imagine, I haven't done this, but if we took a picture of this and looked at the corresponding castle from Disney World, I have a feeling we would see the same height differences. Holy cow, that's a lot of pieces. I can see why that was taking Lex as long as it was. How long we've been doing this for 2 hours? Yeah, we'll do this area, and then that'll be the end of things for today. So let me switch back over to that. There we go. And let's go ahead and start by making Daisy here. This actually might be too, but we might be putting that on the floor or something. We're running out of space. Daisy also has an adorable little ducktail. Ooh, like Donald. And a bow on her head like Minnie. So, cute little Daisy. There we go. Alright, let's fly through this build here. Lex did us a solid to lay it all out. Oh, I'm missing a piece. Let me go grab it. Ooh. Some pieces don't fit. Some pieces don't fit in the bags, so you just kind of throw it in there when you're putting them away, and there's a few one-offs that you just kind of have to know are going to be part of something. So that's one of them. Oh, yikes. Right. With a nib. 2 of these. Okay, we're going to be doing some detailed mosaic floor work here. Making it real pretty. Be more Easter eggs in this section. I can see them already. He typed it in last time, but I know everybody was guessing Aladdin for the magic carpet and the lamp. Heck, you weren't guessing. You knew. There was no guess about it. I don't hear the ice cream maker anymore. Must be going into the freezer. How's our ice cream looking?
It's gonna need to be in the freezer for a while.
Okay.
Probably tomorrow.
Sure. So it looks like there's a lot of pieces here, and I mean there are a lot of pieces here, to be fair, but it's the big pieces. It's easier to build quickly with the big pieces than it is trying to get all those tiny little ones in place. So this actually will be a lot quicker than it looks. And then everybody can go start getting ready for dinner. Or whatever. There we go. Heck, maybe you're getting ready for dinner while you're watching. That's fine. Certainly wouldn't have my feelings hurt. No, I'm good. How's that going there? Okay. That. So don't really know what we're building up here yet, but should be something that'll go in this area here. Actually, that's exactly where it's going to be. You can see this flat area here, which will match up with that. So that's going to probably live right there. Little compartment over here. Not sure what's going to go in there, but kind of got a little room or something. Yeah, if you remember when we were building the first bag with all of that scaffolding, that was probably one of the quicker bags in this whole thing, and ended up being the largest chunk that we made it through. So I find that I take more time when it's the real minute detail work than when it's these big sweeping sections. Bits over here. Just a random smattering. Okay. Now we got these. Whoops, grabbed the wrong types of pieces. I felt really silly in a little while when I needed to use a brick piece and could only find the flat 1x2 piece. Only to discover that I had put it in the middle of this wall over here. Pretty silly indeed. Okay. Looks like I missed another step. How's that possible? Oh, that's where. Yep. Those, two of those, one of those, one of those, one of those. You guys were really polite and didn't point it out. Let me discover my own mistake, and that was very nice. Appreciate how thoughtful everyone is. Sadly, that means I have to go back a few pages, but that was legitimately my failure. Are there two Disneylands in... Oh, Tokyo. There's Tokyo. Tokyo and Shanghai.
Yeah.
Where did I go? Am I losing my mind? Must have only grabbed one of these. And I needed 3. Hopefully that's what I did, and I didn't just somehow mysteriously lose 2 pieces. But we will find out soon enough. Another little trick that they use to give it texture, to kind of have a brickiness to it. The Ghostbusters Firehouse has those at an alarming scale. Like the entire place is set up like that. Also, there was an ideas set, the Fishing Shack, that had a lot of stuff like that on the outside, which legitimately looked cool. It was a really cool set, and it was one of the few ones where there was a lot of that stuff that I typically find just tedious, but it was such a cool looking set when it was finished that it was worth it. Fishing Shack would probably be a fun one to do on here. It wasn't too big, and there was a lot going on with it, and it sure looked cool when it was done. Yes, Bo James singing the song of my original time lapse. Ooh. The origin story of CaseyBuilds. Oh, so that's what that was inside. So there was this orange piece over here, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. Because there was a small black fence piece on the inside, but it gives it a great look for an oven. Now it's like there's fire in there. We're cooking something. I think we've got ourselves a kitchen here. Some more classic castle set type pieces, which if you've built any of those old sets, these will look familiar to you. Same with the door with an arrow slot. What are you talking with Alex about there?
Aqua said, I accept your failures. Everyone can't be as perfect as Alex, my favorite son. And no, Alex didn't type this. This is your mother. And so that's why I said that.
Oh.
And then Alex isn't here anymore. I think he went out to save some puppies. He's so amazing.
I actually missed that. That's cute. See, we are flying through this right now.
Bo James is unimpressed by your speed.
Well, it is not as quick as a time lapse. That is for sure. Yeah. Another one took a little bit of Hollywood magic. And as anyone knows who's ever watched pretty much any movie ever, there's a lot that can happen in a montage.
Everybody loves a good montage.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, good. A couple more brick pieces after all. So I didn't just lose them. Lucky me. I can also definitely say that this bag would have been so much longer had the pieces not been laid out so beautifully for me. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we've got a section of castle here. It's looking pretty nice from the outside. Even the area that was the oven. So looks like we're setting that aside for a sec. Ooh, setting that aside for a second to make another little sub structure. talked about this in a previous build, but they put these little a little glimmer, little shine mark on some of these pieces, and the very first time I ever saw it, I thought it was a printing problem, because it's essentially just a little piece of white, and I thought that maybe they just ran out of ink and there was an issue like that, but I realized they think the gold somehow has a little bit more of a shine to it than the other pieces do, so they show that with a little bit of a white glimmer in the instructions. I think it's awfully optimistic of them to see it that way, but it at least makes sense. Okay, look at that. We made some nice curtains here. So we can put that right there in front of the window. It actually looks real nice. Okay. Back to the main building. Got those. Oh.
You gonna pick that up?
No. That guy is oriented like that. And goes right there. Doing some real interesting finishing work on the corners here. Building a little, can't even really tell. There. Even Rocky had a montage. So true. Even Rocky had a montage. Hey, hun. I would, I think you should plan to start a 4:30 thing without me.
I don't know how you think I'm gonna do that. You have a monitor.
You could do it on your phone. We're going to be close, but we're probably not going to be quite done 4:30. Okay, here we go. So we're going to have a few more little Easter eggs here. This step is one of them. I'll hold things up to show them to you. If I can find them all. Okay. Oops, too far. Too far. Okay. Easter egg number 1. We have a little rose covered in a glass Covered in glass. Just covered in glass. Sure you all know what that's from. I'll give you a minute to think about it before I point it out to you. It's a bit of a gimme. Okay. And here. So we're building up our kitchen right now. Got some food in a barrel here. Okay, we gotta get this on the stove in the back there. Oh, and I missed. Yeah, I should have put that on there first. There we go. Okay. Got a pot on the stove. And we got some food cooking. Okay. That one's going to be a little bit harder to figure out. The kitchen is actually from Little Mermaid. So, Louis' kitchen, where he sings Les Poissons. And the rose, obviously, is from Beauty and the Beast. This guy, I'm sure you'll be able to guess it in just a minute. There we go. Let's build ourselves a little candelabra. Yes, the rose could just be painted red, in which case that would be a slightly different movie. But as far as I know, I don't think Alice in Wonderland is represented in this castle. But here we have an adorable little candelabra. So, looks like Lumiere to me. There we go. On a nice little piece of furniture. That'll go in there. Living in the Beauty and the Beast room, as appropriate. Boom, boom, boom. Couple of pans. Okay, we're doing more kitchen detail here. Ever wonder if it's my mom or brother typing these? Nope, I don't usually give it a second thought. Okay, we got some frying pans in there that luckily are locked in despite being loose. That'll go right in that corner. just a few last pieces here. Okay. We also have the pumpkin, which is not from King Louis, from Louis's kitchen, but in fact from something that turns into a carriage. Here we got some cutlery on the wall. There we go. Let's hang those up. There, and then we got our little chalice. We've got a little cauldron. Here we are. Final few pieces. We got that guy. We're making a kind of a shelf with some different beverage containers on it. This looks kind of nice. Throw that up on the corner there. There we go. We are done with the kitchen. So we have Beauty and the Beast area. We've got a Little Mermaid Ariel and a little Cinderella right there. Yeah, so don't really know how that's going to attach yet. Presumably it'll be somewhere in that region-ish. I'll just kind of set it there for now. Until tomorrow, when we'll come back and finish this off. So 2.5 hours. Yeah. This was, what, bag 10? We have 4 bags to go, and these ones should be, they're bigger like this, but they should fly pretty well. So I think we're going to catch back up tomorrow at 2, like usual, and we shouldn't really interrupt too much of dinner finishing this off. And depending on how long it takes, I love the cuteness factor on this one. Yeah, there's a lot of fun detail here. I actually, Michael Klucher had gotten me a bunch of lights for this set with, so you can run wires and the whole thing will light up and it looks really cool in the dark. And I had never had room to be able to put it all in there before and leave it set up in a way that you can actually see it. But now I have that space. So once I finish this tomorrow, depending on how confident I feel, because the instructions that those come with are not really Lego quality instructions. I may or may not do that at the end of the build tomorrow, depending on how long it takes to. But yeah, we'll definitely wrap this up tomorrow afternoon, and we'll have a finished Disney castle. And appreciate everybody showing up as always. This has been a lot of fun. We'll finish everything up tomorrow, and everybody enjoy the rest of your evening. See you all tomorrow.